Hello, comic book readers, and welcome to Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
This is a comic book review show where we take the books from the past week and we recap them, we review them, we tell you what we thought about them, and then recommend comics that are coming out this week that we think you should buy. We also want to mention the show is sponsored by viewers that are watching the show live right now. You can sponsor today's show and keep all the riffraff out of the proceedings by using the super chats and ask a question or comment here on the program. We'll read it here. Then you're part of the show forever. So it's actually like a twofold thing. Not only do you get to keep all that riffraff corporate stuff out of the show, but you also get to be part of the show itself. It's like you're the third host of the show. Why the hell not, right? At least for a few seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm excited. We're going to be talking about a few books that came out this past week, and then we're going to recommend some books. That's what the show is. That's what we're doing.
And then the show will be over.
Then the show will be over, and then you can watch it again, or you could share with your friends, or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
I will mention that we here on ComicPop Returns is a supplemental channel, or rather a secondary channel that's growing into its own channel, slowly but surely, just like ComicPop was. From ComicPop, the YouTube channel that started it all with our show back issues and our YouTube shorts, which we are putting out. You may have noticed a rollout of one short, which is a clip from Elseworlds Exchange or other podcaster on this channel that came out on this channel. Maybe that'll work out. We'll see. But if you didn't notice it, you didn't miss anything, or because you watched the Elseworlds Exchange episode from which it was sprung. I also want to mention that this channel is quickly reaching 100 episodes, or 100 videos that we have released on this channel.
That's great.
I know. I was just putting together the uploads because we have a playlist from this channel that goes over onto youtube.com/comicpop.
Okay.
And so nobody misses a thing. Even if they don't subscribe, which they absolutely should, because I think only 17% of you are. But if you aren't already, you should subscribe and hit notifications, because you will be notified on the 2 or 3 times ever the week this channel here actually updates. But if you didn't, if you see it over there, there's like 96 episodes of that playlist. So we're getting close to 100.
That's exciting.
Videos on this channel, which I don't know if it means anything, but you know.
It means something to us.
Means something to us.
Yeah.
Exactly. So let's jump into some books that we enjoyed or we want to talk about. There's one that you lamented not being able a chance to read.
I did, but
so I'll talk about it.
Do it anyway. Do it up.
It's written by Rainbow Rowell with art by Roger Antonio, and that's She-Hulk number 3. This is a book that I have been waiting for since they kind of changed her up. So I'm happy to say, like, yay, She-Hulk's back. Jen Walters is back. And look at that weird throwback top left thing. That this cover kind of encapsulates what the art style of this book really is, which is it's not breaking any rules. It's not doing anything terribly new, but it is presenting it in a very interesting style. The style seems to suggest a kind of almost like talky, non-action romance kind of book.
This is Jen Bartel.
Yes,
the cover.
Yes, like, and the cover reflects the interiors.
I know. I'm just saying, like, I recognize that style.
Oh yeah, gorgeous cover and gorgeous interiors. Also, and it's interesting that this book is doing what it is doing. What is She-Hulk doing? Well, it's reestablishing who She-Hulk is, just in time for a TV show for some synergy, but also reestablishing like what she means to the Marvel universe. Obviously, you know, just from when you look at like George Perez or other titans in the industry's drawings of She-Hulk, you think Wonder Woman. I think she is the Wonder Woman of the Marvel universe, but in a distinctly Marvel way. You know, like Wonder Woman is powerful and strong and iconic, and She-Hulk is also powerful and strong, but she's also her greatest stories are not about her feats of strength or about anything that she's like accomplished as a warrior, but rather she's witty and she's charming. And she's human, you know, she's and it's so much more than just the sum of its parts.
Right.
This is, of course, also a retcon book that's introducing or reintroducing Jack of Hearts into the Marvel universe and does a really, really great job of like setting you into that universe of like lesser Avengers, let's say, but also being like, you don't know who Jack of Hearts is. We get it. And like, if you do, you probably want to know where he's been. And so there's a mystery afoot and we'll figure that out together. But it's a lot of talking and it's not like snappy Bendis kind of dialogue. It's not trying to like say something. You know, I remember thinking about like the Elektra series from Bendis and how horrible it was and how like it was just the worst qualities of Bendis put on display, because it's Elektra. You want to watch her like do ninja shit, and then you watch her like sit in a cafe talking for like 18 panels, and they say literally like maybe one sentence worth of actual information. That's not what this is.
I really like that phrase. Do ninja shit.
Yeah, like flip, stab, hide. But this book is just it's people talking and advancing the plot such that it is. It's a TV show. This is basically like its own kind of show.
Well, I can't wait to see Jack of Hearts on Disney Plus.
Right? Yeah. I don't know what the impetus is behind bringing Jack of Hearts back, but we'll see. He's fun.
Okay.
He and sympathetic, and maybe there's an implication that like the way the Jack of Hearts you knew, maybe there's something you never knew about good old Jack. So I recommend the book. I think it's a good read. I think it's a fun introduction to these characters, and I think that it's also distinctly Marvel. You're watching like a giant green Amazonian, so to speak,
right?
Do legal shit and like talk about her apartment. Brian Rowland says, so Beast has finally gone to full supervillain right now. Thank you for your great videos and live shows every week. Well, thanks, Brian. What issue does that happen?
I'm like so done with Beast.
I think everybody is, and I think it's
I'm
like
just done.
It's about time we just say he's Dark Beast.
Yeah. So here's the thing. X-Force number 27 and X-Force Annual came out this week. I chose to read X-Force number 27 and not the Annual. I do believe
you saved some money.
I do believe that. I'm not saying that the Annual isn't important. I do think that it is. I think it's like a one and done from like the summary of it.
Okay.
Not that like, because like here's the thing. Like other annuals do kind of sometimes lead into other things, but this one I read because I was kind of like, all right, they promised like in terms of 27, like what happened to Omega Red? So like we kind of delved into
like from
that.
the X Lives and Deaths of Wolverine.
Yeah. But let's talk about Beast really quickly because he's like just a dick. Like, he's just a full-on dick. But more importantly, he basically so with Omega Red, Sage is what like they're trying to figure out what to do with him, right? Because it's like
do we throw him into hell with a Sabretooth?
Do we resurrect him and then do that?
Right. Oh, that's right. He died.
Yeah. Or what? Right?
Yeah. Do we give him adamantium or maybe
like,
tell him we did? And
essentially, Beast is like he doesn't deserve a trial. He's a villain, and that's it. Just get rid of him. Like he goes to the Quiet Council and is just like, yeah.
I mean, he tried to assassinate Professor X. I think that warrants a special set of circumstances.
I mean, I feel like you look around the Quiet Council.
Who hasn't? Yeah, but this was you broke. You threatened the time stream.
Yeah.
And the leader of our
council. Admittedly, he was under the influence of Mikhail.
Right.
So like, there's a lot of like factors, right? But Beats is like, nah, we don't care about those factors. Those factors are garbage. Those X factors are trash.
Oh, where's that book?
But then instead, X Factor.
I think that was no.
Yeah,
that didn't make
but Sage shows up and is like, "Listen, no, I think we should resurrect him, give him all of his memories."
Oh, great! Yeah, why?
And then we can use him as like a weapon. We can help him and whatever.
What
like,
a terrible.
That's her plan. And they're
suggestion.
Like, okay.
No.
And on top of it, Colossus is like, that's a great idea.
Why would Colossus think that?
Because don't forget, he's
Russian.
He's also like under the influence of Mikhail.
Oh, right.
He killed that girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So like, he's like, this is a good idea. Duh.
That should be an indication to anyone who cares on that council that things are afoot.
No, he's like, no, we need more Russian mutants. I think it'll help.
Help what?
It's like, peacetime talks between them and Russia.
Oh, sure.
So when Beast like basically is outvoted, he leaves and goes to like Mars for a little bit to go talk to Abigail Brand because he's just like
they don't know, they don't get it, they don't believe me.
Bingo.
Oh my god.
And like she's like, did you come here because like you needed to talk to someone who like gets you?
Right.
And then
he's like, no, I need somebody on Orcus because I'm joining Orcus now.
So let's just talk about what actually happens. Like they have a conversation. We haven't seen each other in a while. Obviously, these two have dated. He's missing an eye.
Beast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? And
surprised he didn't kill himself to get it fixed.
She's like, can I put my finger in it? And so like he opens up the eye hole and she does that.
Okay.
And that's the number one thing Tiffany took away from this issue.
Yeah.
Was what is happening in X-Men right now.
Because that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that their character or is that just Ben Percy being like, yeah?
I don't know, because there's like a lot of things that happen in this.
Sorry,
There's a lot of things that happen in this book, but that's the thing that I'm like,
What the hell's happening? I mean, maybe that's a writer tick to kind of be like,
maybe
things are friggin' weird.
Listen,
right
maybe
now.
that's their kink. I don't want to shame them.
I feel like
I'm not here to shame them.
I feel like dating a furry guy is the kink, but okay.
I am like looking at it though, so I don't know. The key though is that Forge dies, by the way, too.
Oh no,
he's just gonna come back,
right? So I don't care.
No, but you should, because the reason that you should care is because like Professor X, like when they did 10 Lives of Wolverine, he like hooked all of the Cerebros together basically, and then put it on Wolverine, and then Wolverine became Omega Red for a little bit. So like now presumably part of Omega Red has imprinted on
Wolverine
onto the Cerebro unit.
What?
And it's like the Matrix has got tentacles and it's killed Forge.
That's terrible. That sucks. When is it? So who's gonna mercy kill this book?
That was like for me, like I was like, there was like a couple moments where I was like, oh, this is interesting, and like.
Then too many. It's death by 1,000 cuts. There's just so many freaking weird.
It is. I mean, like it is
shit.
X-Force, so they're supposed to be like high action and like fighting and stuff like that. But there is something to me about like the like Cold War-esque plot that they could have going on here with Mikhail and Colossus. But like this clearly isn't the title for that to be explored, because that's not what you expect from necessarily an X-Force book.
No.
Right? I don't know.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's not your favorite book.
That's true.
Young Goku 9000, getting back to the gym. Got to catch the rewatch. We got our first gymmer.
Hey!
I've never read 90s X-Men, but Marauders felt like 90s X-Men. Am I right? Do you get the feeling Daredevil was never designed for an epic type thing that it got? Can't be for Fisk. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but yes. I have my own thoughts about that, and I'm happy to share them, as I want to do. Chase Wellings just met Sean Gordon Murphy for the White Knight signing. Nice guy. He's a nice guy. Yeah. It's nice to he's a fun conversation. Anarchic Arachnid, hey you two, hope you've been well. What did you think of Spider-Punk? Personally, it was meh on how wordy it was, but solid opening. I didn't read it. I don't care about Spider-Punk. I'm not interested in variants on Spider-Man. I just like the one. And even then, for some reason, people are interested in only writing really bad versions of him. Cat Lawyer will defend for treats. I saw that A24 Multiverse movie and kept thinking how multiverse is just an everyday word now. Kid me explaining multiverses to friends was traumatic. I remember multiverses being like a joke. I remember like the multiverse being ubiquitous in mainstream big two comic books, and then someone saying me having that in my lexicon, mentioning multiverses, and anyone who knew anything about science was like, multiverses are silly and stupid, and no one in the scientific community takes them seriously at all. Like that is pure comic book garbage. No one in the scientific community validates the multiverse at all. And it's like the insistence from my scientific friends, this is pre-Ethan or PE, was they were like, you need to stop talking about them. Like it makes you look stupid. That was the prevailing opinion of multiverses, like going back about 10-15 years ago. Maybe more, 20 years ago, who knows. But like it was embarrassing to discuss them. And now, and maybe it's because they're so stupid and so obvious. And that's why everyone loves them, because they're like, I get that. I make a bad decision, I'm go over here. If I make a good decision, I'm over here. And I'm all and that way, like, my decisions matter or don't, depending on what like way I'm looking at it. But I think that's interesting that like multiverses were a thing that like nobody talked about for a little while, except in comics, and now it's like a shorthand for do-overs and explanations for movies.
I mean, like, I think yes, for there. I think for people just in general, it's a fun thought exercise in creativity. Sure. At times to like.
I think so. In comics, certainly.
It can be.
Yeah. And in movies.
But I think it can be also like just now it's a crutch.
Yes.
Because now that it's like normalized.
I don't think it's a crutch. I think it's a marketing ploy.
Well, yeah.
I think it's a way to cash in on nostalgia. It's like people didn't understand what a multiverse was, so we could never put Michael Keaton into a Flash movie. But since the titular actor in the Flash movie is now toxic AF and we have to get rid of him, the back door to this will be Michael Keaton Batman. And now that people get multiverses, I can do that.
Do they get them?
They get them in as much as they can say it without like pooping their pants, apparently. But Ray Farr, hi Sal and Tiff. Hey Ray, I asked Tiffany this on Twitch, but I was wondering what Sal's opinions are about the Marvel DC apps. Thank you for the content. Thanks, man. I actually have never bought into the apps because I had Comixology.
Well, what I said was when we were talking about that, was that it really, I guess it depends on if you know for a fact, because I don't really know the cost and like what's available to you on those apps when you pay for that subscription. But like, if you're like, if you know yourself, right, and you're like, I'm basically a DC reader, right? Like if you're just like, I really like this universe, and like, then it's a pretty easy commitment for you, right? To go like, okay, I'm just gonna go that route, right?
Yeah.
And then occasionally, like again, if you a lot of people use the apps, probably don't have access to a local comic book store, or like maybe don't have the space to store physical copies of things. But you know that like at the end of the day, like, oh, if you like wanted to read a special event that was going on at another company, whether it be like Marvel or Image or Boom or somebody like that, right? You could go and grab it on Comixology.
Totally.
But like if you're a person like me who's just all over the map,
yeah,
like it makes more sense, even if Comixology isn't at its prime right now, to stick with that.
Them, yeah. Well, it is one-stop shopping. It's just easier. It always will be easier.
Yeah.
And technically you have a download option for Comixology, so you don't like, you're not people talk about renting books. It's like no, but with those apps you are 100% renting those books.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like with Comixology I am, which like I try not to think about too much.
No, you can't.
I can't let myself do that.
No, but you can download them. You could download a version and put it on your laptop or your iPad, and it'll be there forever. Yeah,
I've never done that.
Yeah, I've done it. I did it back when Amazon first acquired Comixology. I downloaded probably 1,000 comic books, and then it turns out they kept it going, and so that was that. I stopped doing it. But yeah, what else we got?
I read Moon Knight.
Yes, you did. I have no doubt that you read Moon Knight. How'd you like it?
I liked it. It was Jed MacKay with art by Alessandro Cappuccio.
Usual team.
Yep, usual team. Looks great. I really dug this issue, honestly. It was listen, it's Moon Knight, right? Like it's fun. It's it's purposefully written like to feel cool, but also like kind of silly in a way. Like not really.
Right, like have fun with it.
Yeah, but what's the matter? Oh,
I'm just trying to.
Okay. But I like that. All right, so throughout this, there's been like throughout this run on Moon Knight by Jed MacKay, there's been this like through line of him coming to see a therapist.
Yes.
Right.
Who was also a vampire?
No.
Okay.
She's just a therapist.
Oh, okay. I thought she was also a vampire.
No, the other girl's a vampire.
Oh, okay.
But and he's run into this guy named Zodiac, right? It's like, oh, this is gonna be the big bad, right? But we haven't really touched base on him for like a little bit, like directly.
Yeah.
Because we did a little bit with Devil's Reign, and then we got the new mission that's like a haunted house, basically. But like we're kind of getting back to it, right?
Okay.
And whenever Moon Knight goes to see the therapist, he goes in his Mr. Knight garb.
Yes.
Right, which is like dope.
Yeah.
Not this time.
Oh no.
He comes as Moon Knight.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And like it's completely done on purpose. And that's why I like the visual storytelling in this book. I mean, I like the story itself as well, but like just smart.
Yeah.
It's like noted by the therapist, like, this is different. He's like, yeah. But they had teased in a couple of issues back the release of Rutherford Winter, who I think is a MacKay creation from back, not in Moon Knight.
Right, some other MacKay book.
I think I can't remember in what. And that was gonna be a problem because he's a killer and he's not good, right?
Oh no.
So we get this like back and forth story between like Moon Knight talking to the therapist and Moon Knight having a fight with Winter, because Winter comes to, I always want to say Winter, but I'm 99% sure it's Winter. Yeah. But my brain's like Winter.
Right.
Because I don't know. Like Winter.
Because Winter is coming, yeah.
Winter, yeah. Winter just wants to know where his therapist is, which is this lady.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to talk to her. I need help. And like the therapist is like, there is no help for him, and blah, blah, blah. Like, so like it's a really like strained conversation between Moon Knight and the therapist. Yeah. And like inevitably Moon Knight, gives it up, that he's like, okay, like enough. Enough is enough. Like, so essentially he goes like, he's just sitting there, and like this for me was like the baller panel. It's like such a simple panel, but he's just sitting there and he just goes, if she's dead, I'm going to hurt you beyond comprehension. He just gives it up. He's just like, you're not my therapist.
Right. That's why I'm dressed as Moon Knight, because I'm actually going to kick your ass.
Yeah, I'm going to kick your ass. Where is she?
Okay.
Because like, here's the thing. If she's alive, then I'm either going to let you go or I'm going to kill you.
Right.
Right. But if she's not, and like she's dead, you're going to stay alive, and I'm going to hurt you.
Right.
Until you die.
Like for the rest of your life.
Right.
Okay.
So what it was is basically Winter realized that it was like something had happened to the therapist, blamed Moon Knight. Turns out it wasn't Moon Knight. Zodiac is behind all of this, but who's taking the place of his therapist? It's Waxman.
Okay.
So, well, Waxman. There's no hyphen.
There's no hyphen or space.
Yeah. Waxman. My brain made Waxman.
I think it's Waxman.
He's like,
because he looks like a Waxman. Yeah,
he looks like Clayface.
Right. He's not Clayface.
But like, this guy can't die. Moon Knight's gonna like threatens. He like is able to utilize a grenade to freeze him, and then he puts him into like this perfect sphere that they welded so that all the seams are perfectly shut. And he's just like, I can just live in here forever, man. Doesn't matter. I don't just eat or like sleep or anything like that. I'll just wait until eventually you slip up and I'll get out. And Moon Knight's like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. You're in the like a construction site of a building, and I'm gonna cover you in concrete, and inevitably, like, and I'll just leave you here. I don't care.
Right, because like, one day I'll die.
Yeah, and who cares? But like, honestly, like the madness will get to you, and like,
yeah,
like how long will it take for the screams to start? And then he's like, okay, I'll just tell you where he is. Then that's fine.
Okay.
And then Moon Knight does it
anyway. What a jackass.
Like the winner has joined the team, so it's Tigra, Soldier, and Winter. But that vampire chick Reese is not there because he knew she couldn't handle him doing that. So like he's hunting out to find his therapist and get Zodiac. So
cool.
It was just fun, but again, like that, like you can feel that, like, all right, something's wrong. McKay doesn't show his hand too soon in this. You know what I mean? Like you know something's up.
Yeah.
But like initially, because I knew Zodiac had gone to see the therapist at one point, so it was like either she was under his like thumb, or
he was gonna take her.
Yeah, so
either one could still happen.
Yeah, but I really enjoy. Well, no, she's definitely been taken.
Okay,
but like I just love that, like that's how it unfolds, and nice. I thought McKay did a nice job and continues just. Moon Knight's just doing his own thing. Oh yeah, no, for sure. Moon Knight, Jed McKay remembers shit. That should be. I'm telling you, it's the name of his podcast.
I know.
But Moon Knight's really just doing his own thing and walking his own line. And like what I appreciate about Moon Knight is typically Moon Knight is the type of character who can do that.
Yeah,
he's the kind of book that if like you are a writer who doesn't want to play with all these characters like coming in and out, or like, oh my gosh, how could they be doing this? They're supposed to be doing that. Like Moon Knight's probably your guy for the most part, except for that stint where he was on the Avengers.
Yeah, that was
But like for the like Moon Knight, is a loner. He has a team now, but it's a team of people who it's like
who are also loners.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Cool. Yay.
Good book is what I should say.
Yeah.
It's not like
it's not fine. It's a good book.
It's a good book, but it's fine that you do the other thing.
Gotcha. Dante Cook, here's some cash to get the lights on. It seems a little dark today. I love it though. Combined with Sal's soothing voice, you're either putting us to sleep, putting us in the mood. Love you all so much. Thanks a lot, Dante. We're just trying something different.
Yeah.
You might have seen it on other shows, but this is the look.
I feel like my head's really like
blocking the arcade, but either state. Anarchic Arachnid, honestly, Beast is my favorite because, much like Hank Pym, this Hank feels like a borderline mad scientist to do the right thing and messing up. Is he doing the right thing, or is he just being like selfish?
Yeah, because it depends on what they decide where he's gonna land.
Yeah,
because like literally wherever this ends and it lands will determine what his actions were up to this point. But it's hard to tell at this point if anyone has like a endpoint for Beast already established in their minds. I don't know.
Ray Farr, my friends and I are going halvesies on both apps because there is one comic shop near us and there is some serious gatekeeping and I never feel welcome in there.
That's not cool.
Yeah, F them. Order your books through the mail. Matthew Chalaga, hey guys, I was wondering if you have any recommendations for sites where those of us who don't have access to a comic book store could find some European comics. No, I'm sorry. I don't know. Not outside of the US. And I feel like those books should just be available, like especially online. Comixology, Marvel Unlimited, DC Infinite, or whatever the hell they call it.
Yeah,
those books should just be available across overseas.
Especially now, like with Amazon integrating fully with Comixology, like you can check through Comixology, but like it's really through the Kindle reader, and so like sometimes you'll find like trades and graphic novels more in that Kindle area.
So I guess the great suggestion is use the Kindle e-reader. Like try that.
Yeah,
or the Kindle store.
And there's the Kindle. There's a desktop version of the Kindle reader, so you can use that as well.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I read Batman Killing Time #2 from Tom King, and David Marquez and Alejandro Sanchez. This is another one of those like King miniseries about Batman and Catwoman not to be confused with the other King miniseries, Batman Catwoman, which is also set in a different time or all the times.
All the time.
This is like a flashback book to a younger Batman, younger Catwoman, younger days. Although it's not so young that all his rogues aren't already established and in the book, so they are, and so it's like whatever. And again, I think that you need to approach this series like every series he's done. I would honestly take his entire Batman run from his inception, from his beginning, all the way through everything he's written for Batman, and just put it in its own universe.
Oh,
it's just its own. It's just the Kingiverse.
Is it a kingdom?
I think, yeah, call it the Kingdom. Yeah, the Batman Kingdom. Because let me tell you, it doesn't really line up, doesn't fit, and it doesn't matter because it's Batman, so who cares? But I think that a lot of people's like argument and problem with it is that King approaches it from a perspective of making it its own thing anyway and doesn't care about continuity, or only cares about his own continuity, or only cares about the continuity that he's trying to preserve. Like King has a real reverence for like Silver Age and Golden Age and stuff. So he really wants to like pay homage to that, but he doesn't really care about anything else except for stuff he's personally read. Unless you count all the street names that are named after prominent Batman creators that he likes.
Right.
But which are abundant. There are at least 4 different name drops of creators in this issue. But as to the actual story, it's exactly like Batman Catwoman in that it takes place in multiple time periods at the same time throughout the one issue. It is a substantial read. I did enjoy it. It is only 40 pages for $5, but you feel like you're getting more comic because it requires a lot of reading, and it has multiple locations and again like different time periods. But Riddler and Catwoman have stolen something from Bruce Wayne's lockbox or storage space from the bank. I don't know why he would use anything of any consequence in there, but the identity of which is still a mystery. We're just seeing like breadcrumbs and explanations and backstory for what happened in the first issue, while also paying off the next step, while also setting up mysteries. Like what was in the box? We don't know. Who is the mysterious new buyer that wants what's in the box? We don't know. I do know that the book is well written and I do enjoy it. Although the biggest complaint I do have for this is I have decided because I was like, I remember, obviously King's a friend of the show and we talk on this channel, and he has encouraged that I reread certain books that he's done. I might have come around a little bit on War Jokes or Riddles, but I hate his Joker. I've decided I just don't like it. And like there isn't really a Joker I do like outside of like some of the movie versions, but when you revisit them, when you're in them in the moment, like when you read A Death in the Family or any of the Aparo Joker, or really the Alan Grant Jokers, but or the Jim Starlin Joker, he's pretty obvious and mundane, and then someone goes nuts with him. Like I think maybe Snyder's Joker might be my favorite, but he's exhausting in Last Night on Earth.
Right.
So who knows?
Okay.
But I know I don't like this. Just sick of it. Because this Joker is like, I don't know. It's just it feels, it is. I'm very aware that he's doing something. A lot of his characters come very naturally, and while you may not like these interpretations of them, they're very. You can't deny their authenticity. His Catwoman is very authentic, despite the fact that I again don't like his Catwoman very much. But the Joker, I'm very aware that he doesn't know what to do with the Joker, and so he's like infusing like all this stuff.
Okay,
and it's just like, let it go, man. Like Miller unapologetic. Like I don't know. It's Tom King and Frank Miller. What are you gonna? You're not really. It's apples and oranges. But like, Miller and Dark Knight Returns. Like I'm writing the definitive Batman book of all time. I'm using all the characters that I care about. I'm gonna put the Joker in there, and he went for it. He's like, here you go. Like the movies thought it was Paul Lynde. Doesn't matter. The point is like, here's a Joker.
Right.
And like it or leave it. This is my version. That's what I respect. And I usually don't like Snyder. Again, he went all in on his Joker, and his Joker, can't deny, it's very much his.
Right.
There you go. But I don't like this. Whatever it is, I think it's like I think it's just an uncommitted Joker. He's like he's trying. Tom King is too talented to be trying this hard to give me the Joker. Just it's no good. Doesn't hold water. That's what I'm saying. But but the book is good. I'm enjoying it. It's fun. And there's mysteries afoot and abound. There's references to like, 3,000-year-old human mythology in there. Like literally, it's like 6 months ago this happened, 2 weeks ago this happened, 2 hours ago this happened, 3,000 years ago this happened. I think whereas Batwoman, Catwoman left you in the cold, I think you will enjoy Killing Time.
Okay, yeah, Batman, Catwoman. I was just like, I'm out.
And that's Batman, Catwoman is literally like 2/3 of the book as characters I don't care for in his interpretation.
So
and I still enjoy it. But anyway, Brady White says, how is it going? I really enjoyed X-Men Red this week. Killing Time #2 was iffy, and I'm not sure about it. I read Moon Knight Bottom today, and I really enjoyed it. It was a cool interpretation. Yes, man. And if you didn't know, Charlie Houston is a huge Moon Knight fan. Did a lot of payoff for his for the Moon Knight that he grew up reading.
Right.
John Ty, would it be appreciated to describe appropriate to describe Fantastic Four as Star Trek and Guardians of the Galaxy as Star Wars? I guess so. Yeah, I mean, I've heard worse interpretations of those versions, but no, Star Trek, Fantastic Four is more about exploration, whereas Guardians of the Galaxy was about anything else. I don't know what the hell. I've never really liked the Guardians of the Galaxy run, and it's always because it's heavy cosmic, heavy sci-fi, heavy adventure.
My brain 100% interpreted that statement incorrectly. I was like, Fantastic Four as Star Trek and Guardians of the Galaxy as Star Wars, as all of those things. And I'm like
what?
What?
No.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Harishi Venkatesh, would you do War of the Realms on back issues? I picked it up and read it this week expecting it to be a mess, and it kind of was, but I also had a lot of fun. Yeah, that's what that book is. And I would definitely try it.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that book.
It was a little bit of a mess, but it was still pretty. It was messy. It was not impenetrable.
No, that's true.
What else you got?
Where do we want to go here? I read Marauders this week.
Mm-hmm. Steve Orlando.
Yeah, it's the new Marauders.
This is a #1 issue.
Yeah, we're relaunching Marauders. They're new, but not.
Mm-hmm. Great cover.
Yeah, solid cover. It's written by Steve Orlando with art by Eleonora Carlini. Okay.
I'm why are you hiding?
I'm not trying to hide. I just was just over there. There we are. Hi. Well, no, you're
now you're on the show.
I was on the show the whole time. I was just over
all the way over there.
That's fine. I want to sit over there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's talk about story and art here before we kind of jump into what happened here.
Okay.
Story-wise, this is fine. They're throwing a lot at the wall here, and okay, so a big problem for some people in terms of the Krakoan age of X-Men has been having villains on governing bodies and being just on this island, big name villains like Apocalypse and Exodus,
because they're mutants, regardless of their past deeds,
and having that is a true olive branch of let's make this work for the betterment of all of us.
Yeah.
And some of it's worked out with Apocalypse. Obviously he would doing things though.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing things, but it all kind of worked out there. Sinister, some people have an idea of what's going on with him, but others not so much. Legion turned out to help out, be a bit of an asset. But then you got Sabretooth and the other characters have betrayed them and made things worse. And
Omega Red.
Yeah, and so hey, let's just bring in Xavier's sister.
Yeah,
sister, not sister.
Right.
Sister entity, energy entity thing.
Mm-hmm. Because I mean she was a Grant Morrison creation, obviously huge deal when she debuted, and arguably one of the worst villains the X-Men have ever faced in the modern period.
Right. Now there's history there is that
conspicuously absent also
in this
from the Hickman era.
Yeah,
Hickman you'd be surprised.
She's been on an archipelago hidden away on Krakoa, and Jean made her feel empathy back in the day, so now she knows the bad she does.
Oh.
So that's why it's fine, but I'm it seems weird that Xavier would bring her there.
Maybe because of what she did to Genosha?
I'm just saying, it just seems weird.
Right.
that you'd bring her directly onto the island and be like, this is fine.
Right.
This will not bite me in the ass at all.
I mean, that's like what this book might as well. I mean, like what the Hickman era
but like,
should be called.
But now it's just, there's something about it when it's all like placed in front of you at the beginning of the story where it's like, hey, here's something, and we're gonna watch like hubris and like the rise and fall, and like some characters will redeem themselves and others won't. And now we've kind of gotten through some of that, and it's like, and now let's keep doing that same thing.
Right. Well, and we've proven that like sometimes that works, but most of the time it doesn't. Yeah.
But I'm like,
but let's keep doing it. Like, what about another big reveal? Like, yeah, because when Hickman debuted this whole concept, and like Apocalypse walks in with every bad guy behind him, like that was the moment.
That was the moment.
And then it's like, but let's do that again.
Yeah, and I know it's not quite the same thing. So like, story wise, I'm gonna wait to see where this goes. Writing wise, there's a couple of moments in this where I was like, like it's just like we literally, and like I don't know, like there's only so much page real estate, I guess. Like there's a moment in this where Kitty Pryde says, I sent it to you.
Yeah, she has a line.
Yeah, she has a line where she says, explain why a 2 billion-year-old box inscribed in my handwriting held a map that leads to you, Cassandra Nova, Xavier's homicidal sister. This is just, here's the exposition of the plot.
Yes, and I think it's being done to be fun,
I guess. But also, like, here's the exposition of the plot, which we already got because there's like the page, the
recap page
that tells you all that, and then we kind of go through it as well, right?
Yeah.
And then we get it again, and then we also get like this is who this character is.
Yep.
And now why does that annoy me? Because later on, when we see this character again, and this character is introduced to the rest of the new Marauders, there's a character on the team who goes, I don't know who you are. Are you supposed to be somebody important? I'm like, this is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But you already did this, so now whose benefit is this for?
Right. I guess it's for the audience just to be like,
just to double check.
Well, I already know who you are, but maybe not everybody does because they showed up after that character had already debuted.
I guess. No, but what I'm saying is that like we get this, and then later on, like pages later, we get another explanation of who this character is.
Oh, someone actually answers the question? Yeah. Oh, okay. Because I thought it was just the line, I don't even know who you are. You're supposed to be somebody important, and then they just look at him like he's an idiot and move on. Okay. See, no, you have three reiterations of who Cassandra Nova is.
Yeah.
Okay, pass. Plus it's a little clunky.
It is a little clunky. Additionally, I struggled a little bit with the art here and there.
Yes.
It's not consistent. It's very all over the place.
Yeah, it looks like it's going for a particular style.
But it's not consistent throughout the book.
Yeah. Like an Eastern influence.
Yeah, but like not quite there.
But merged with
weird.
Western. It's
not... Yeah, it's a little like I think it just needs a little more time.
It's a little much.
Overall story is that there's this box, and it's like Kitty's handwriting on it, but it's like really freaking old, and like Cassandra Nova's gonna be involved because it's like, oh man, we gotta go give the Shi'ars a hard time, which is like,
why?
Cassandra Nova gave the Shi'ars a real hard time in the past,
right?
So it's all very suspect, right?
Right, but like, yeah, and maybe if you're gonna bring her back, why do the same greatest hits?
Because we gotta go out there because the Shi'ar might have like the first mutants. Or something like that.
Yeah.
And the Shi'ar, Xandra finds out, oh, that might be true, actually.
Oh.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's like we've taken the Marauder, going to put them in space. Space Marauders.
Okay. Isn't there already a space book? Or wasn't there already a space book?
That was Sword.
And New Mutants was space book for a little minute. For like a minute. I enjoyed that.
But that wasn't anymore. So
anymore.
Now Marauders is the space book. But like, I guess X-Men Red is also the space book. I don't know. This just didn't hit with me.
No.
I guess that's what I'm saying is this just did not hit with me.
Yeah, and it's a very different tonal shift because you have a completely different writer.
What's funny too is it's like this is a new Marauders, and what they've done is they've taken characters who don't have books and they put them in here.
That's called the Avengers.
Well, they used to be in books, but those books got canceled. So Psylocke from the Hellions is here, which I was like, sorry, Grey Crow, you're not coming along. You guys are developing a relationship. That's over.
Well, maybe you'll have one.
Aurora and Daken from X Factor are here now.
Oh. What about the original Marauders?
They all broke up. They all went and did other things.
Why?
Because...
No, I mean, like, why didn't bring them back?
Because they had things to do.
Do they actually have things to do? Or are they in other books?
Well,
You're reading them, so.
Storm left.
Well, yeah.
Iceman wanted to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Bishop's still here. I swear to God, Bishop just keeps looking younger and younger.
Yeah.
That's Bishop's secret power.
They would love that. I mean, like, the fact is they would just, Yeah, Bishop never looked older than when he first debuted.
Yeah, and Tempo's still here. I believe she was on.
Okay.
I think she was on Marauders. So like they had grabbed Tempo, so she remained, and so did Bishop technically. But
right.
it was just funny. Like this just wasn't like.
Yeah, well, it didn't feel like returning to the book, but it also didn't feel like a fun refresh.
Yeah, I don't know what this was. Like, and I will give it another issue.
Yeah,
at least to see. But this opening volley for like, here we go, back to Marauders. What are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do it for me. So sorry.
Okay. That's fair. What was it? Chris C. I'm back once again to ask you to do a back issues of the Amalgam Universe. Well aware it's awful, but I'd love to hear your jokes about it. I don't remember you asking it in the first place, but thank you for asking. We've talked about Amalgam in our DC versus Marvel episode from like 5 or 6 years ago.
I do remember the masking.
We do talk about Amalgam from time to time. We did a whole GBU episode about different Amalgam tie-in issues. I don't know if we did our episode of back issues on All Access, which is an Amalgam book. It has a whole bunch of Amalgam characters in there. But there's never say never.
Yeah, exactly.
But like they're all individual books, not about like I guess we could talk about Amalgam as a concept, like I've talked about, like the Tick. Pop Culture Guy 3000. If anybody wants to read a real Marvel comic with a sociopathic mad scientist trying to be as good. To be good, it's Jeremy Whitney's Unbeatable Wasp, especially Volume 2. Okay, well, I'm sure they appreciate the residuals. So what else did you read?
I read Doctor.
Did you read Strange?
I read Strange #2.
Okay.
This week, and
a lot of things happening on this cover. Is that Madame Mask?
No.
No,
that's Harvestman.
Oh, Harvestman, thank you.
So okay, this is also written by Jed MacKay, with art by Ferreira.
Yes.
By Marcelo Ferreira.
All
right. So we last left off. Clea was facing off against Harvestman, and there was like the resurrected corpse of Thunderstrike.
Yes,
like we briefly check in with like Kevin Masterson for a second, but
Kevin Masterson is his brother. I don't remember.
He's making mac and cheese. That's all you need to know. Okay. And the reason I know this is because he, for an entire page, sings a song about mac and cheese.
Wow.
As Thunderstrike's weapon is called to him.
Okay. All right.
This was a weird week for me because like there are some like there's a lot of fun in a lot of these books, and there's a lot of like what the hell, right? So it's like Jed MacKay is writing this. Jed MacKay is writing Moon Knight. Moon Knight, I was like, this is clever and fun and on point. And Strange, I'm like, I can't tell if super clever, setting us up to think one thing and then later will be revealed something else,
right?
Or thread that doesn't mean anything and will go nowhere but has a lot of emphasis.
Has he done both?
Oh, I don't know. Or Harvestman's Doctor Strange.
Oh God. Okay.
Because I'm like, so Harvestman's Strange? Is that where we're going with this? Or is that where you're leading me to go with it so that like you can feel clever when you reveal something else, even though you're clearly making me think that's what's going to happen?
Right.
Like
that's funny.
I can't tell if that's like if you're trying to do that thing
where your Wallace Shawn.
Where you specifically lead me down a path and then go, haha, no.
Yeah.
Or you don't realize you're leading me down this path and it's like, well, clearly that's what it is, though.
Yeah. Only a great fool would reach for what he's given. I'm not a great fool, therefore I can clearly not choose the glass in front of me. But you would have known about it. You'd have counted on it, and then I can clearly not choose the glass in front of me.
It's literally me right now. I'm like,
yeah.
Right?
Where was I?
I was in Doctor Strange. I was in Strange.
Australia.
Manhattan. With Thunderstrike.
Yeah.
So, by the way, it turns out it's not really Thunderstrike. I mean, it is Thunderstrike's body.
Right.
But it's like, it's filled with a bunch of ghosts who are trying to get away from death.
Okay.
So they're trying to use his body to shamble out of there. It's like a little. It's really weird. It's a strange decision, but that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just weird that there's another book starring another like oft neglected character that's female, in which we are reintroducing a character that has been like neglected and ignored. But like She-Hulk, we're gonna introduce Jack of Hearts again, and in Strange, hey, we're gonna bring back Thunderstrike.
But he's not really back. He's a corpse, and then he goes back to like he's claimed back.
Okay.
For Mistress Death.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this ends in a fight between Mistress Death and Clea over Strange. I don't know. We'll see how this goes.
Would you like that?
I don't even know.
Which would you like best? Let me ask you that. What would be the most what would be the most satisfying ending for this series that is clearly going to end? Like, it's not like Strange is going to be a 30-issue series. This is going to be a 6 or 8-issue series. What is going to when it ends and it's like Harvestman is Strange, or Harvestman is Baron Mordo and he's made you think he was Strange, or he's Strange's brother and he's a vampire?
Not anymore. I mean, he's dead.
Yeah, but no, he came back.
Oh, and he's still a vampire?
Yeah, he's still, and he's new Baron Blood.
And so will he, because he's a vampire. You just learned that from me the other
day.
Yeah,
you told me the Baron Blood.
I didn't. 3 Baron Bloods.
I was like, I thought there was only one Baron Blood.
No, there's 3 Baron Bloods, and
one of them was Doctor Strange's friggin' brother.
Yeah, and it's all Strange's fault anyway.
That's cool. But yeah, which one would you like better?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just waiting for Jed McKay to remember that Strange has a really tragic backstory.
With like yeah,
and then Tom King like kicks him out of the way so he can tell that story.
No, I want an 8 to 12 issue miniseries where I make someone sad about this sad situation. Well, McKay, I don't know. McKay hasn't written like a weepy psychodrama about finding your humanity.
But it is something he'd have to remember.
And he is good at that.
Yeah, Baron Blood multiverse when?
Yeah. Yeah, what if when would you reveal that Baron Blood actually there's only one Baron Blood and there's a multiversal variant because multiverse.
Oh. So in this, Harvestman like casts spells from a like Eye of Agamotto, from like that looking thing from around his neck.
Let me see this. I didn't read this book, so I'm just gonna take a look. Yeah, he's Doctor Strange. Look at that hair. Okay,
that's what trust me. It was the hair for me as well.
Yeah,
but it was the hair like in like there was like a side.
What is he saying? Does he say? Is there a standout line of his that says anything that might be like that's very Steven?
My business is deaths. I answer to no mortal.
I mean, that's a classic Doctor Strange line, but I don't know about our current Doctor Strange line.
I'm just saying.
What did he say? Well, he did say I have an appointment with death once. And that's very much him.
I don't know. So that what you need to know though is that they take care of that, and then like we kind of leave Harvestman be, and like
so he can come back.
Clea goes home and has takes a shower and lounges on the couch with a glass of wine while like she and Wong muse about like what just happened, and she's just like, "Ha, Harvestman, stupid." Blah. And like Wong's like, she's like, "What would like even like?" Wong's like, "Clearly, death has come up with an allegory for the Sorcerer Supreme."
What?
And I'm like, that's why that was where I was like, wait, are you breadcrumbing me to one thing so that I ignore your less than like satisfying reveal?
Is that it? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Doctor Strange.
That's one of the like. It's either Doctor Strange
Strange died.
Yeah.
Death claims him.
Yeah.
Then makes him basically her herald.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But like, or he's specifically making me think that so that like when he reveals it's something else, it's somehow
she's like, no, I had Steven in this little box.
It feels more clever.
And then he just comes out.
Yeah, I don't know.
He just needed like the tears of a loved one to like make him come back to life. Like, whoa, did you think Harvestman was strange the whole time?
Yes.
You dupe?
What?
No.
You made me think that.
Yeah, I know.
You specifically laid the trail.
Listen, Zdarsky is the exact same thing in Devil's Reign #6.
All right. Maybe that's just the current.
With delight, I might add.
All right. But I don't know the answer to this yet. And maybe it doesn't mean it. That's the other thing. It could be
We're only on issue 2.
It could literally mean nothing. They could be like, who the fuck cares who Harvestman is?
McKay could be like, oh crap, you think everybody thinks it's Strange? Oops.
Uh-oh.
He's just going to be like the Upside Down Man. Like, he was just going to be a fun new character.
Uh-oh.
Oops. Well, do people think the Upside Down Man was actually Cersei or something? Like, what the hell's happening? Anyway.
Also previously, earlier in this issue, Clea's like, oh yeah, and like don't forget on the Sorcerer Supreme of like 2 places, and like you think that'd be like super dope, but actually it's really bad because it's
you said that.
No, I know. It turns out having all of that magic is not good because the magic of the Dark Dimension and the magic of Earth Sorcerer Supreme are they're like fighting at one. They're threatening to battle one another within her and also like consume her.
Okay.
So she's like, I'm partially trying to keep that apart, but also have to fight this guy.
Yeah. Well, you got to fight every guy. You're the Sorcerer Supreme now.
But like she doesn't really want to do that. Like all she cares about is getting Steven back. And like Wong's like, here, by the way, now that you're home.
Was she doing anything about it? Did that come up where she's like, we got to get Steven back? Oh, Harvestman.
Well, yeah, because she followed what felt like it was a resurrection, so she assumed it was Steven, and that's how she got there to Thunderstrike, and then Harvestman showed up to be like, yo, you can't leave. You're just a bunch of ghosts. You're like a bunch of ghosts in a trench coat trying to get into a movie you can't go see. It's just a Thunderstrike trench coat.
That's awesome.
Just floppy skin. It is not that. I kind of wish it was that.
Yeah, now I do.
Just like
he's just a like one of those sock ghosts from Halloween decorations.
He does yell Thunderstrike though.
Okay.
Because he gets his weapon and so
that's too bad. They just bring him back. Screw it.
Well, they didn't.
They should bring back the Thor core book.
They did not do that. But
people are clamoring for multiple Thors.
So then like Wong's like, oh, by the way, you have to do all these things. You're the Sorcerer Supreme. And she's like, oh, and there's like a knock at the door.
Thank goodness.
She's like, I gotta go deal with that.
Yeah. He's like, I answered the door, but okay.
He's like, I can't do this list.
Right. Yeah. Because unlike the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
I'm
not
need you
better
to
than
take care of this list.
Yeah.
And she's like, including that school that Steven started. You have to go check in on it. Now, trust me, that school is in fine hands. It is in fine hands.
It's not neat Jed McKay.
No, Brother Voodoo has got that under control.
Oh, that's good.
I hope. Anyway, she opens the door. It's like this guy who we saw earlier from the Shrouded Bazaar, which is like a back alley, like marketplace with like magic and stuff like that in it. She had protected it.
Yeah.
From an attack from the Blasphemy Cartel, but they came back and they were mad. And she's like, wait a minute, that's stupid because like this place was under like my protection, like a warlord's protection essentially. And Wong's like, this is Earth.
Right.
Things don't work like that here, honey.
Well, I mean, they kind of do, but like,
and she's like, well, now it does. And like, she turns around and she's like going all faultine on him.
Oh, cool.
So
okay,
we'll see what happens. It's too much for her. And it's not too much for her because she can't handle it. It's because she's trying to do two things.
She's just too busy.
She's like,
it's inappropriate if strange to ask her.
It really was. It's like,
that's
hey, I know you're the Sorcerer Supreme of this dimension, but also can you be the Sorcerer Supreme of this dimension?
Because we used to be married.
Yeah, and like do everything all at once. And I'm sure there's some reason behind this. Other than it's just a cool image to see her do that. But it's like, it's not like she wasn't that, and it was just like, no, she can totally.
You're a Horcrux of mine. I'm gonna pop out of you at some point.
Oh God, I hope not.
They should also use this as an opportunity to bring back his Spawn costume.
Oh, please don't do that to me.
With the blue mask?
I hate that costume.
It's so good. It's so dope. No, the better.
It's not.
Yeah, the better one, not the blue mask. That's Blue Strange. No, I mean the other one, the Spawn one. Yeah, from the 90s. Yeah, that was dope. It was a great suit. And it has so much practicality and applicability. You could bring that back. It'd be cool.
So okay,
what if it wasn't Doctor Strange? What if it was evil Doctor Strange?
I don't tell you what your Spider-Man should be wearing.
No. That's true.
So
that's true. Well, thankfully, in my situation with my Spider-Man, there are so goddamn many of them. They can all wear everything. Let's talk about X-Men Red for a minute. Please.
Yeah, let's do that. By the way, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy this.
No, yeah,
I'm
that's
just like sitting here though, and I'm like,
you're not even complaining. You're just like, nah.
Yeah, I'm like simultaneously like either I have this totally cracked or I don't know anything that's happening.
That's fair.
Those are my two options.
Before we get into Red really quick, yeah.
I am enjoying the fact that like Clea is staying true to her nature throughout this. Like McKay is being true to that, where it's just like she's like she's like,
it's not like Spider-Man shows up and he's like, and he teaches her about power responsibility.
I mean, listen, she is 100% managing both powers simultaneously.
Right.
Super strong, right? She's like, this is not the job for me. She admits that. She's like, I don't want to do this crap.
Right.
I don't want to do this day-to-day bullshit. That's not who I am, right?
That's awesome.
I just want to get Steven back.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm here to do.
Which is fair.
And like, who tells me no? Nobody.
Right. Yeah.
Screw you.
Right. Except for Wong, I guess.
Yeah, but then when she gets too mad, then she gets all fire-headed.
That's dope.
It's like...
That's a great costume.
Anyway, go ahead.
Our case is the world paper shortage is forecasted to end in late 2023. Do you think publishers may invest in digital genuinely, finally, or stick to the status quo? Digital accounts for a drop in the bucket of monthly comic book sales, so they're going to continue to do what they do because publishers do what they do. The comic book industry in particular is not, I wouldn't even call them a publisher. I'd call them like an IP factory that doesn't really understand like how to sell books anymore. Like a book publisher does what book publishers do, and the comic book industry does what the comic book industry does. But those are two different things for some reason. Like for example, you'd think that like one of the largest comic book publishers would have like trade paperbacks of their most valuable properties available on hand at all times, so that when your character is like in a movie or in a show, or it just happens to be in the zeitgeist at the time, that you would have it readily available at all times. But because of business practices from the 90s, and I think from being gun shy of going bankrupt, now they make sure that like even essential collections are out of print and $200 for no reason. Like, which is something that no publisher does. Like, no publisher, like magazine, book, whatever, does that. Even DC doesn't do that, and DC makes a lot of boneheaded decisions. DC isn't even run by publishers anymore. So like, I don't know, but
I think I'd be more concerned about whether or not the quality of books is going to go up in terms of printing after that's what I'm afraid of. And then what we'll end up seeing is inevitably it might, and then you'll see it in specific runs of things, like in the aftermarket, where they'll be like, oh, we're going to do this, like, luxe printing, like this deluxe printing. And it's just like what you're used to. It's
just what it used to be. Yeah, that sounds
That's
about
what
right.
I'm afraid of.
So I've noticed apparently there's some discussion that apparently like some Marvel comics are of lower print quality than others. I've not been in the comic book store since I've seen this complaint. So I haven't actually, but I need to go and do a test comparison.
I got to go, and I got to start feeling paper.
Yeah, because I've literally
seen me do that.
Yes. But I saw it on TikTok of all places, and like people have vested interest in talking about and poking holes in the industry's boat for no good reason. If we're going to do that, we're doing it because we want quality to go up, not because we're trying to get clicks. But I haven't seen it firsthand, so I can't speak to it. But just like when they raise the tolls on your parkways, and they tell you it's only going to be a temporary measure, and then it never changes, and it only goes up. If Marvel can get away with selling shitty quality comics and then the paper shortage goes away, they're going to keep printing shitty quality comics. That's just what they do. Double Edge 57.
Look, our HelloFresh menus are now like just paper.
I know. HelloFresh menus are shit.
I don't really care. I don't really care.
Yeah, no, but like, eventually it'll just be a text you get.
That's fine. I'd be okay. I have the app. I can just use that.
That's true. Double Edge 57 wanted to show my support, and as I've been watching for years, and you all have gotten me into some incredible comics over the years. You got me into X-Men, and I've recently managed to get the first appearance of Kitty Pryde. Hey,
wow, very nice.
Nice find, and thank you for your support, man. Jordan Cooper, hey, great to see you live. Here's support. Loved the Joker finale talk. Wish I was there live. Mine's the game. Batman saying he would have saved him, and Joker's last word. That is pretty funny. I love that ending. Yeah, it's a good ending. It's not one that I would use every time, but I did like it in that game. The Fodder Box Kid, I hope you're having a great day, both of us.
Yeah.
I hope you are too, man. I've been editing my comic script, but I'm taking a break to watch the live show and say hello and give you some money. Well,
hello.
Thank you very much, and keep it up, man. I think we're good.
All right, before we get into this, I do want to mention too that I read Wonder Woman Historia Chapter 2
yes, you did.
Well.
Yeah, because I haven't read any of it.
Oh.
I need to. I literally haven't read the first one. I haven't had a chance to.
That's fine. This is written by Kelly Sue DeConnick. This time with art by Jean Ha. Very different look and feel to this story than the first one.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool because the first one, it takes a place mainly like in like Olympus and like in a godly space, and so like the art really
speaks to it.
Really fits there, much like the art really fits for this part of the story as well. I'm really not going to get into this. I am just going to say that like I'm really digging this story quite a bit. I get why some people might not.
Yeah,
I definitely get why some people might not.
I haven't heard any real like hype about this book at all, outside of it being like so long to come out.
Yeah, no, and it is, and I do get it. You're getting a lot for it too. This issue had like in the back of it like some Jean Ha sketchbook stuff, like showing you how he goes from like panel to panel, or like for some of them, and with actually some notes in there too about him using certain devices. And like once you like some of it, you'll notice, and then you'll realize I missed a whole bunch of stuff in the art. So I thought that was very exciting. It's interesting. This is an origin, which we saw actually in the first issue of the Amazons.
Okay.
That's like a version that I had recently read up on, thanks to that Who's Who from like the late 80s.
Yes. Yeah, you talked about Wonder Woman's origin, and you were like, "Ooh, I wish they'd bring this back."
I did, and like they.
Is it in this?
It isn't. It isn't. Like it's like it's a taking of that, and then they twisted it and they put it over here. But like it's kind of neat. It definitely fits for this story. Like I said, I get why this story may not be for everyone.
Sure. Well, they're certainly not marketing it for anybody.
But I like the art is beautiful in it, and like I honestly am truly enjoying the ride, and I'm looking forward to more.
I wonder who will draw the third one. Did they say?
I honestly don't know, and I didn't realize that there was a different artist until I opened the book up.
Yeah, no, they didn't tell anybody. I haven't heard anything about it.
Listen, that was on me. I could have just,
but I have a vested interest in knowing what's happening, and I didn't hear anything.
It was on the front. I could just look at it and be like, oh yeah, that's very different.
Oh yeah, that's true. The cover was very different. What's it called? Bland Man, and you're thinking of Midnight Sun, Siege of Darkness, Doctor Strange, and yes, it's the best Doctor Strange book. Look, bar none.
No,
it's the Spawn version. Yeah, with like a cool arm gauntlet. He looks like Faust. But
why do you want everyone to look exactly like? I want all of my characters. I don't want to see their faces.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
I want to look like Spider-Man.
Yeah,
that's just what I want.
I don't really want.
But I only want one Spider-Man.
I honestly don't. I just like to get a rise out of you.
I know you do.
I just think it's funny. Storm King says, "Hey Tiff, have you read Little Monsters by Jeff Lemire? I know that this is true because she has it at her computer. Or Cult of Dracula by Rich Davis. Horror books you might appreciate. Maybe Sal might like these books too.
I read the first issue and I talked about it like when it came out. I was gonna say last week, but
I don't know if it was last week.
It was not at all last week.
It was like the last time.
It was last month.
Yeah.
Issue 2 was one I wanted to grab. I just have to make a decision if I'm going to do physical or digital on that one.
Yeah.
But I did physical in the first issue, but sometimes I try to get first issues of Image books since they don't do reprints on them. And then I might go to digital on that, but I just didn't get a chance to grab it yet. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah. X-Men Red, #1, Al Ewing, Stefano Caselli. Tell us about it. I didn't read this.
It's just you're just doing me dirty here, man.
I don't read X-Men anymore.
You're just doing me dirty. This is good. I enjoyed this.
Yay.
Yeah. And like a weaker week for X-Men for me. I really enjoyed this. It's Ewing though, doing what Ewing does.
That sounds about right.
And like we're gonna be in space.
I mean, I see Abigail Brand's
there.
And he wrote Swords, so yeah.
He's like, could I please have a space book again?
Right.
They're like, no, Marauders going into space. Shut up, Al Ewing.
And you will not be writing it.
Shut up.
Don't worry. At this rate, Marauders get canceled after 4 issues.
It'll be fine, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I kind of dig this issue quite a bit. It's really delving into like Arakko being Mars, basically,
being Mars,
right?
Yes.
And the fact that like Storm's like regent of Arakko, but like some of like the Arakan folk, the Iraqi folk, like Iska, the Unbeaten, like to call her Queen of Mars or Queen of Arakko.
I'm sure Storm has a problem with that.
She does. She's like, I'm not that.
Right.
I'm just the regent. I won this place. We see like the fight where she won it against a person who could shapeshift and like look like Storm, but in a different costume.
Was it the one from when she took over the Morlocks?
No.
That would have been kind of fun.
That would have been dope. No, it was the one. It's the one that I associate with when she like was with T'Challa with like the kind of a thing here and like the black suit.
It's a fun suit.
Little crown. I don't think it's exactly
it. Was just what the shapeshifter looked like.
Yeah. That shapeshifter like killed herself too, by the way. But so Storm won it, but like she also like this chick was just like you know giving her a hard time about everything, and also saying like that like Storm she wasn't there. She wasn't there like on the other side.
Okay.
So like, what right do you have to be in charge of anything?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, it's interesting.
Okay.
Like that, like. She doesn't understand the plight of these people or like their culture necessarily, right?
Let me ask you this: wind, guide my hand. And then it just blows her across the room. And she's like, "That's what gives me the right."
You know, I think it's actually an earlier costume now that I'm looking at.
Oh, that's that's Dave Cockrum.
That's a much older costume.
Yeah, that's the Dave Cockrum
I was thinking of specifically.
Yeah, the headdress.
That shot.
That definitely says Wakanda, but it's
but it's not. But you don't get to see too much of it except for this one shot where she's then frozen.
That's fun.
Ben completed the Wordle.
Oh, good for him. So did I.
So she says basically it's like she doesn't know the cost. I wanted to specifically says like, okay, yeah. You're tainted by your world, you're seduced by power, by crowns and thrones.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's an interesting read on Storm.
Yeah.
Right? Because like we often think of her as goddess, right?
Right. Or as like the queen of Wakanda.
Exactly. So in here she is in another place of power like that.
Yeah.
With like a crown.
Which we say would suit her, but them being like, eh.
Yeah, but like having like something of a crown thanks to her costume from Hellfire Gala.
Yeah.
And like a seat of power, like a throne, right? So I'm like, okay, fair read, right? Meanwhile, there's like their quiet council has like a vote that is going on about whether or not they should go back to Amenth and help Genesis and Apocalypse fight.
It'd be interesting to see because no one's talking about that at all.
They're not going to do that right now, but like this book is dealing with it.
Cool.
So there is a vote that goes. Iska does not vote because Iska feels that if she votes, then like it's not really a vote because then she'll win whatever she votes for.
Right.
She's unbeaten, so she abstains for every vote.
Fair.
Storm gets 2, so they end up voting for peace. That they're not going to do.
Cool.
That.
But for now.
Yeah, for now.
Until Hickman comes back, and then they'll do it.
And then maybe they'll
Or Teenie Howard will do it under the direction.
Or it's going to happen at some point, no matter what.
Well, here's the thing. Here's how you'll know if Hickman's never coming back. Arakko will explode.
Kaboom.
Like they will what's it called? Genosha Mars.
Sure. Why not? Let's not do that.
I know. We've seen it.
But you know, Iska and Storm have a conversation where like Storm's like Iska's like, we, you know, indicates as like this is what we do. And like you're not really upholding the idea of what like, you know, Genesis wanted. And she's like, I'm not the ruler here. I'm not the queen. And she's like, okay, sure, right.
But you are though.
Yeah, but you are.
Yeah.
And she's like, you could have voted. And that would have like changed like the voting and then we would have won. And she's like, yeah, but I don't do that. I'm like, okay, cool. It's good. You don't take responsibility for anything.
Right. Yeah, no.
Storm will inevitably like be haunted by like the voice of the other Storm in her head, right? Brand comes to her.
Okay.
Because there's a fight because DaCosta Robert DaCosta.
Yeah, Roberto DaCosta.
Yeah, I'm like, it is DaCosta.
Yeah.
Because then I immediately thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That blamation.
Mm-hmm.
But he's opened a bar. Like, you know, they've got the Green Lagoon. He's got the Red Lagoon.
Okay.
But it's like not well attended.
Yeah. Yeah, because these people don't know leisure.
Yeah, Vulcan shows up.
And
he's like giving everybody a hard time, and I'm like, cool.
Go away, Vulcan.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted you to be the third Summers brother.
Yeah, but he's here anyway. He runs into a Shi'ar. They have an altercation. And like he's like, I used to be in charge of you.
Yeah, you were terrible at it.
Yeah, he's like, and then like gladiator to give, I thrown away. I didn't die. It's not his to give, it's mine.
Okay, Vulcan.
He and DaCosta have like a fight, but like Vulcan can take his powers because they're both like solar based. So he's just getting his ass kicked, and then Thunderbird shows up.
Oh, hey.
And like Thunderbird is just an angry man.
Yes.
He's just mad at everybody.
You think he'd chill out now that he's back to life?
Just punching people. He punches Vulcan. He's like, tell your brother, go to hell. That's not what he says at all. Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, I hate everybody.
Okay.
Brand shows up to deal with this problem, right? And that's when she comes to Storm and goes like, we need like an X-Men team up here. And I'm like, well, you can't trust anything Brand says.
No.
Anymore. You just can't. You can't trust anything. She's working with Orcus and she's putting her finger in Beast's eye hole. So it's like, you just can't trust anything this woman says. I like her a lot, but like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So like, she's like, you got to form some X-Men. Storm goes inevitably and destroys her throne, by the way, because she does in fact have a throne.
Yeah.
So she just destroys that.
I don't want anybody to see this.
And she takes off her headdress and everything like that, right? Meanwhile, Magneto has moved to Arakko.
Yes.
And he's looking for a place to stay.
What a terrible idea.
And so he finds like this like tiny island, like peninsula kind of thing, right? And he goes there and there's like this old man who's got like a fish. And he's like, hey, he's like, do you live here? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, can I live here? And he's like, do you mean like, can you have this land? Because we're going to have a problem with that. But if you'd like to just live here,
right,
we got no problem as long as you have an open door at all times. Like, as long as that, he's like, okay. So like they have I actually really love this conversation.
Cool.
Because like, he's like, what's your name? Stranger. And like Magneto starts to say who he is. And he calls himself Max. And I was like, wow.
Wow.
He went for the real name.
That's nice.
He's like, I'm Max. He's like,
why? What's happening?
He wants to start over.
This is not. No, you always start over. This was the white suit is the start over.
Well, he's not wearing the white suit. He's wearing the red suit.
He's wearing the red suit,
which is weird because I guess they weren't talking about. Like, nobody was talking to anybody. I guess because he went to. He's like, I can't wear white on Mars. It's gonna be destroyed.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't get an asteroid around Mars. Call it Asteroid M.
Well, he didn't do that.
I'm shocked.
He just moves there. He builds himself a big metal tower. We find out this guy's name is he just goes by Kingfisher.
Okay.
or the Fisher King. I think he's the Fisher King. Yeah. And then it's revealed, like, he's like, I was in Araco, like I was born in a prison there, like in Amenth, like in that area, like so like I grew up there, and he's like, but I get the feeling that you've had a similar experience, and so like they bond. I'm like, oh, over his like Holocaust experience and his experience like in Amenth and Araco, and I'm like, that's cool, right? Like that's neat.
Yeah.
Inevitably, like DaCosta shows up there as well. But it's like right around the time that it's revealed that he's like, Magneto's like, I never asked you, like, first of all, what your name was and what your power is. Like, what's your thing? And he's like, I don't have one.
Oh, no.
And he's like, what? Magneto's like,
yeah.
But, and he's like, I never said I was a mutant. I just said I was born there. He was born there. So, like, he was just a dude who, like, supposedly, we'll see, was born in, like, Amenth.
Yeah, with
and
no
like
power.
Survived it.
Wow.
And like fought with them. And he's like, but you're from Araco. Like, he's like, it doesn't take powers to be of Araco. Magneto's like, oh,
that's cool.
What? And then DaCosta shows up. He's like, hey, nice open door, because he has no door. It's just a portal.
Yeah.
And he's like, you got to form some X-Men up
here. Okay.
So then, like, Storm shows up. She's like, we do have to form some X-Men up here.
Oh, my God.
But it's not going to be called the X-Men because we're up here.
No.
She's like, it'll be a brotherhood.
Oh, my God. Okay.
And she's got a new costume.
Cool.
So, like, I liked this book. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The Magneto, like, Fisher King dialogue was great.
Yeah.
That was, like, completely...
Like, that's very Magneto.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Like, Magneto being like, I've got to ask permission. I want to live here. Like, we have a bond. I found out you're a human.
Right.
And then you school me.
Right.
And I'm like,
I got a lot to learn.
Do I not know anything?
No, you don't. Magneto.
Yeah, but like, and Brand clearly wants this team to form for whatever reasons. So like, there's a lot going into the formation of this team.
Yeah.
And like, it's like, everyone thinks that they've had this idea organically. But like,
everyone's being manipulated.
Right, or not, because like Brand's like, oh, I need this to happen, right? But
yeah.
that doesn't mean that she accounted for some other characters doing certain things.
Right.
You know? So it's like, I don't know. I'm looking forward to where this goes. I really like Al Ewing's like writing. I like Caselli's art. It looks good.
Dope.
This was easily my favorite X-Men book of the week.
Wow. And that's saying a lot, because there are a lot of those.
There were a lot this week, and just most of them did not deliver.
Yes. Vance Cunningham, just wanted to give a shout out to my favorite working artist, Michael Cho. He does the Mighty Marvel Masterworks trade paperback covers, retro Darwin Cook style. Yes, he's great. We've seen him at Comic-Cons.
Yeah.
He's terrific. BK Sakuga, thoughts on the upcoming Avengers X-Men Eternals event. Apparently it's X-Men versus Eternals with the Avengers trying to break up the fight. Yes, that's right. That's the idea.
Yep.
Should be good. It's good writers, so I'm not complaining. Kings.
Well, here's all that needs to happen.
Right.
Is that the World Machine realizes, I think they already know too, but that the Eternals realize that the X-Men are doing what they do.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, oh, you can't do that.
Yeah.
We'll see. I trust this book.
Yeah. It's what's his name? It's Hellblazer. Oh, no, it's Gillen. Yeah, that's right. I thought it was Spurrier for a second.
No.
But no, it's Gillen. And Gillen's great. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Kingsport, Cal, the lighting looks really better. It looks way better now. I like the lighting. I see that at TMNT Arcade. What are the other ones? You should do a studio tour short. Turtles in Time. Yeah, it's actually the original TMNT with Turtles in Time attached to it. The other one is a X-Men versus Street Fighter game, and the other one is the Simpsons arcade game.
Oh, there's one other thing I wanted to mention, because I saw it today in an interview, and I wanted to bring this up before I forget. This is an interview with Kieran Gillen about X-Men.
Okay.
About the Moira clones that Sinister has. Like, how does that work with her powers? Because it does have her. They do have her powers.
Yeah.
So Gillen was like, "All right, let me help you guys out here. Here's the okay, serious answer. It's a quick save. The timeline resets to the moment that the clone was created. The timeline resets to the moment the clone was created.
How weird. Okay.
And had their gene activated.
Okay.
So whenever Sinister wants to create a save slot, he makes a new clone. So like each clone can put him to a different. He's like save scumming.
Yeah. But
he says that. Oh, he's actually said save scumming. I didn't read that.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So like if he wants to go back to a specific time frame, he can kill a clone and go back to that time.
But how does he go back?
I guess because he's sinister and saved memories.
Okay. Well, I'll have to wait for his explanation for that one.
Yeah. But I just wanted to tell you it's save slots.
Yeah. Rampage and Bob, can you make a pitch for a Blue Beetle movie?
Can you?
I probably, but not on the spot like that. I don't really like. I like Ted, and Jaime's fine. They have a show coming out or a movie or something with him. They don't care about Ted. I don't know what the plan is.
They could do a show with Ted.
Yeah, I wouldn't rather. I don't want to see a Blue Beetle movie. I'd rather see a Blue and Gold show.
Like Peacemaker.
But with Blue Beetle and Booster Gold.
Mhm.
That'd be the show. Devil's Reign number 6 is the final book of the hour. We are talking about, of course, this book from Chip Zdarsky and Marco Cicchetto. It's over. It's the biggest Daredevil event I've ever read, and it's finally completed. This was an odd series because it wasn't an event. It was an event. It was a Daredevil. It was just Zdarsky's Daredevil run hidden inside of a Marvel event. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this as an event, but I like everything about it. It didn't grab me the way it should have in every respect. But the art was fantastic, and I don't know who. If you weren't reading Daredevil, you're not going to care about or know what the hell's happening to anyone in this book. You're gonna be like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's moments where the Fantastic Four just show up and they're like, "Hey, we got some stuff," and that's one panel. It's just and I'm like, right, because nobody cares because we're setting up the new Daredevil reboot because the Daredevil series is coming back because it was canceled, kind of, not really, and then the last issue, Daredevil, Kingpin beat Mike Murdock to death, making you think it was like him thinking it's Matt Murdock. It's great in terms of like retcons and surprises and twists and turns. Zdarsky is a genius when it comes to that stuff. Like, he did a whole thing. He set this up like a year or so ago, like the Mike Murdock retcon.
Yeah.
Just setting up like Matt had a brother now. And then Mike being this like pawnbroker. And then Matt leaning on him because Matt doesn't know the difference. And then having him just be a red herring so that like Kingpin could kill him, and then Kingpin could remember who he is but still think he got revenge on him. Then Daredevil reappears at the end and Kingpin's like, "No, I killed you!" And Matt being like really pissed because as far as he's concerned, Daredevil killed his brother. And all that, it's a fun moment between Iron Man and Dr. Octopus in this, which I hope will be paid off in the future. Doc Ock is just like, oh, because Purple Man is involved, and he's just sending drones, and he's taking over people's minds, and he's abusing the like multiversal Doc Ock superior heroes that he took over.
Okay.
In the multiverse, Doc Ock doesn't just take over Spider-Man; he takes over Hulk, or Ghost Rider, and so he brings them from the multiverse and makes like his own team. That was in like one of the tie-ins. It was just fun. I really like that. But Iron Man like just kicks the fucking shit out of Doc Ock and goes, for that superior intellect, it's amazing you never thought to make a suit of armor. Because he just punches him in the face, and it's like, oh, it's over. I'm like, yep. So we're getting that someday. But yeah, the real awesome takeaway is that like it wraps up with Kingpin being arrested. He's no longer mayor of New York, and Luke Cage is running unopposed now.
Oh, okay.
So I guess Luke Cage will be mayor of New York, which I love. Great idea. I can't wait for him to have a 4-issue miniseries that'll get canceled. I know. Every time they try to bring back Luke Cage, they just whiz it. But Luke Cage is a great character and he should have a great book. And at the very least, he'll be like in every Marvel comic because he'll be mayor. Yeah. I hope. But it's really cool because they set that up. Like Zdarsky set that up, paid it off. Zdarsky set up some twists and turns and some expectations, like Mayor Fisk. At the end of it, he's not mayor anymore, and he sets up like these other characters, these like would-be kingpins who are manipulating Butch, his illegitimate son, who's also the kingpin of New York. And anyway, Butch takes Will and brings him before them, and they're like, we run this, like we own you, and you've been setting your sights too small, and so they're setting up this whole new status quo where he's like, you're thinking too small, and then they set up like this whole thing of like Kingpin being the president of the United States, and it's like President Fisk, and
how are they going to swing that one?
Oh, they're rich and powerful.
Oh, right. I forgot.
But I loved it because I saw it coming because I figured out Zdarsky's writing. Like there's this moment where one of the characters is like, I don't touch people, but like I will shake your hand over this momentous occasion. I'm like, Kingpin's gonna kill everyone in the room, and that's exactly what he does. and he says, look, Butch, like this is what Fisks do. Like we don't beg, we don't bend, we don't cower. Mm-hmm. Like we take. And he's like, I went nuts, I killed these people. Now you have it. Now you're Kingpin. Like this I can't give you anything. I can't give you like my love as a father. I can't give you like the years back, but I can give you a hell of an origin story. So like Butch is now the official like uncontrolled Kingpin of New York, and Fisk and his wife Typhoid Mary get in a boat and leave.
Wait, I thought he got arrested.
Yeah, no, but Butch took him away from there and brought him before like the power brokers of New York, who made his charges go away. In
so
service
he gets to leave.
He gets to leave. He leaves. He sets sail into the sunset.
So realistic. I hate it.
Yeah. But at least he doesn't get to be president, which I really appreciate.
That's true. Okay.
But like they set this whole thing up, and you could have done a whole damn 2-year-long story arc of Fisk running for president, becoming president, doing all this stuff, and instead he just kills everyone in the room and says, "No,
I'm not doing that."
It's dope. And it sets up like Daredevil's like, so everyone thinks I'm dead. Elektra, you wanted me to like what? Do something with the hand? Take over something? Okay, let's go.
What?
So he and Elektra leave. And it's like, cool. Okay.
So there's no Daredevil right now?
There's 2 Daredevils, and they're running this other thing.
Oh.
And that'll be in the Daredevil book.
Oh.
But there's no Matt Murdock.
Oh.
And we've seen that. We've seen
yeah.
We've seen Matt die and Daredevil be like, Matt's dead. And it's really tiring. But Zdarsky doing it sounds pretty awesome to me. So that was fun. I hope, I think on the reread I'll enjoy it more as like an event. But as an event, it wasn't a really good event. Despite the fact that like the tie-ins were few and far between, and those that were did what they wanted, whatever, it was fine.
Okay,
it was fine. I have no real complaints about it, and I know they got to make their money, so I get it.
Money must be made.
Cat Lawyer will defend for treats. Can't wait to see Matt go back to small intimate stories someday. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what makes or breaks an event. Always love your insight. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'd love to get into like that. It's tough though. It's hard to see. It's like why do people like go see movies, or why don't they go see movies? If sometimes an event will really hit and sometimes they won't.
Yeah.
Harishi, Venkatesh, Luke, and Jessica are now 2 of my favorite characters, and the conclusion of Devil's Reign should allow us for at least one good ongoing comic of either of them. Yes, I agree.
In my head, even though there's been
Jess should be like
so many years in between, it just goes New Avengers this.
Yeah, it might as well. For as much, it really might as well. I reread that issue where he goes at the elevator, and it's still fantastic.
It's freaking amazing.
All right, so let's recommend some comics that are coming out this week that we think you should check out. Despite my protestations, I will recommend Batman Catwoman number 11.
I was wondering if you were going to do that.
I mean, I do that. I've read the whole book. I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
So, check it out. Batman 89 number 5, which I believe is a critical failure. I'm pretty sure is coming out. I've enjoyed it.
What?
Kind of.
What?
It's just like, it's a fun, like, it's like reading it's reading fan fiction. It is straight up fan fiction, but with good art, kind of, and and it's from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So you're like, oh, hey, Flashpoint Beyond number 0 is coming out. It's the Jeff Johns book. We'll see if it will not have any influence over anything that is happening in the publishing line. So don't get too excited about it. But if you want to read it on its own in the like Doomsday Clock universe, go for it. I believe this is the conclusion of the Green Lantern run for Green Lantern number 12 from Jeff Thorne and Tom Rainey. If it isn't, let me know. But otherwise, it's a big. There's, as I understand it from Twitter, there's a big, bombastic, colossal conclusion.
Okay.
So check it out if you are interested in Green Lanterns of any kind. And I think, Naomi's coming out, but who cares? And Shadow Man #8 is coming out, and I still like this book.
That's good. That's
good.
Great.
It's good art, good writing. But we'll see how long that lasts.
Okay,
we'll see how long that lasts before Valiant fucks it up.
I'm gonna have a shout out to X-Men #10 coming out this week, so looking forward to that for sure.
Looks like Deathstrike.
It does look like Deathstrike, doesn't it? But don't forget,
they got a lot of.
They're dealing with like a lot of things. There's a lot of space stuff.
No,
it is.
Oh, is
it? Death strikes swiftly. Yes.
Yeah.
Jerry Duggan with art by Javier Pina. So looking forward to that. Freaking Duggan, man.
Yeah, I know.
Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't get too crazy.
No.
I also want to give a shout out to Eternals #11 for sure.
I can't believe it's been going this long.
11 issues plus random one-off issues.
Right.
This is All Hail Thanos #5. Clearly, this is leading up to that Avengers, X-Men, Eternals book. You know what I mean? Like, so if you're like wondering how this is like where this is all coming from, here.
Yeah.
Because this is Gillen's book.
Right.
He's the one orchestrating this. So this is where a lot of the impetus is going to be. So, and now it's got like a fancy little thing. I love this. I think this is great.
Judgment Day is coming.
It looks cool. It's got like
that cover, man. That's a Ribbit cover, I think, but it's but different artist on the book.
So fantastic. Yeah.
Guyu Villanova.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you take that.
I apologize for my pronunciation.
Let's just all make apologies for
this
that.
ridiculous book is coming out.
Yeah, let's just talk about X-Men '92 House of XC11. So
I guess 92.
Yeah, I'm like X10 100 minus 10 plus 2.
Carry the 1.
Oh
God.
It's coming out, guys. This is happening. The 90s are back again. So says the thing. Everyone's favorite 90s incarnations of the X-Men have returned, but this time everything is even all newer and all different. I love this image. It's just the 90s animated series X-Men coming through a Krakoan gate. Yeah,
it's a recreation of one of the first issue.
I know, but
of them from the cartoon.
I don't know, guys. Written by Steve Fox, art by Salvador Espin. I gotta check this out.
Yeah.
I have to see this.
Yeah.
I have to. All those voices are gonna come back.
Oh yeah.
If you know the X-Men animated series, I guarantee you're gonna read this and you're gonna hear everyone's voice.
Yep.
Just like that. Just
hyped.
Just like that. Reign #4 is coming out. It's a Joe Hill comic. It's a novella or short story he wrote that is now being adapted into a comic. I kind of dig it. Just wanted to
give a shout out to that.
Yeah, I did.
Cool.
I did. And there it is. Hooray!
Yay! Finally.
Suicide Squad Blaze #2 is coming out. I literally last week looked this up because I was like,
where is this book?
Where the hell is this book at, guys? Yeah. It was coming out this week instead. If you heard me talk about the first issue of this, I freaking loved this book. Absolutely loved this book. Written by Simon Spurrier with art by Aaron Campbell.
Yeah.
This was a team I loved when they did Hellblazer. And I know Spurrier also worked with Mateo Bagara on Hellblazer, but on not as many issues. I loved Campbell's art on that book. I love it on this book. I really, really enjoyed the story where it's going. It is a Black Label book. It is oversized, and it's going to be 48 pages. So if you're looking for something a little different, trust me, this might be worth your attention. But you're gonna need to pick up that first issue,
right?
For sure. And I think that's kind of it for me.
Yeah. I if they didn't botch Batman Damned, I feel like Black Label would have been a huge success because right now, every Black Label book that you buy, which is I buy, but because I'm going, but
yeah, thank you.
They I never have to put them on a pre-order list.
I know. Well, even on this site that we're looking at, to tell you about what's coming out, that book is pretty far down.
Yeah. Because it ain't in alphabetical order.
It's not in alphabetical order. It's just in I guess
order of who cares. I guess.
Or people who have favorited certain things or put them on their pull list, and that book is pretty far down there.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it's a shame.
Yeah, I would love to know actually why.
It's really well written.
Yeah,
it's a really fun story. It's not your standard Suicide Squad story either. Like that's what I think is so interesting about it, is like it's so, you know, you because of the movies, because of other stories that have come out for Suicide Squad, like you have this idea in your head about what a Suicide Squad story will be.
Yeah,
and it's not quite what this is. It's
no
a different take on it.
No.
And I really like it. It's a little darker.
Oh, sure.
Saying a lot.
But not to be confused with the Suicide Squad Dark book you'll never see from the DC bracket, which does look like a fun idea because Batman Vampire's leading the team.
Of course.
Love it.
Yeah.
Except it's from the Dark Multiverse, so it can't be that Batman because he's from Elseworlds. He's from the Multiverse.
Yeah, it's got to be a different version.
Got to be a different version.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, they just forgot. Whoops.
Oh, we have a great question. Fantastic question, honestly. And I'm very happy that you asked it because maybe we can shine a light on it. It's from Jeff Thorne. Thorne Identity. What is the deal with Jeff Johns' finger guns? This is a holdover for many years. I think from the very beginning, whatever first issue we did of Jeff Johns that he wrote from our Mother Show back issues, we talked about a Jeff Johns book, and for whatever reason, because of course the premise of the show is that I explain a comic to two people who have no context for it. At least that was the beginning of the show. They don't know who these people are. These writers, these artists. They don't their names. You know, so that, you know, when you hear a name, you know, you hear Len Wein, you're like, oh, you know, creator of the Hulk.
Yeah.
Well, not Wolverine, really, but in any case, not the Hulk. Wolverine. Wolverine appeared in the Hulk. Anyway, but like you hear a name and you're like, yeah, I know that character. But with Jeff Johns, all that the couch could hear, like Jeff Johns, it sounds like a fake name that is ascribed to like an ambulance chasing lawyer.
Yes.
You know, like if you got hit in if you've been hurt by anything, like a doctor, a fall, you know, an accident, a fall, doctor, hospital, you may be entitled to a high cash settlement. Just call Jeff Johns. You know, and Jeff Johns is and the character we created on the couch, Jeff Johns, was a go-getting ambulance chasing lawyer who's like, yo, you got a problem? Call Jeff Johns. I got you. And that's what it was. It's just Jeff Johns. Hey. And then it's like, oh no, actually he's not that at all. But that's where the Jeff Johns comes from. And every time, and we used to do it a lot. Like every time his name come up, you'd be like Jeff Johns. But over time,
it just kept coming up. We're like, I can't
not.
One of us has to do it.
Someone does it.
So
and then every once in a while, I'll cut to it and be like, hey, you know, or like, yeah. But it's so rare. Yeah, Dex Baker, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
But yeah, that's where Jeff Johns came from.
Yes,
or at least our version of Jeff Johns, the multiversal Jeff Johns. This is a Jeff Johns who didn't fancy himself a creative of any kind.
Is he in the dark multiverse?
Yeah, he's a dark multiverse. Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns, the dark multiverse, is just a like he's a Jacobian Myers or whatever word you want to use, whatever your ambulance chasing local cowboy hat wearing lawyer on TV would wear. But yeah, Jeff Johns.
By the way, there's a book I forgot I wanted to mention. Just because I know we have some big fans of like Sandman stuff, and like they want to get more of that. You know, that Sandman Universe Black Label imprint that they put out instead of Vertigo.
Yeah.
There's a new story starting up called The Sandman Universe Nightmare Country. It's written by James Tynion IV.
Yes.
With art by Lissandro Estheron. This is about the Corinthian. So if you've read Sandman, you know who the Corinthian is. And so if you want to know like more of the Corinthian, then this might be the book for you. Written by Tynion, so it's gonna have some teeth. It's gonna have
well, and he loves Sandman.
Fans. You got my pun.
Yeah.
No, he does. He does love Sandman as well. So yeah, I just want to give a shout out to that. I forgot that was coming out. We'll see.
Are you hyped?
I'm not hyped.
If Cy Spurrier was going to write a Sandman book, would you be hyped?
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Because it's like
because you like both those authors.
I do. No, I do. I absolutely do. I guess it's just like they haven't written much that I was like, wow, from the Sandman universe in a while.
No.
You know, since Gaiman.
Yes. It's literally the last time you enjoyed Sandman was when it was written by its originator. Yeah.
It's not true. Aaron does a good death, the high cost of living.
Who?
Aaron?
Oh yeah, Jason Aaron, yeah.
Wait, no, it's not Aaron.
Was it?
No, I was thinking Botchlove does the art for that, and
yes.
I hated that. Never mind. Ignore me. Ignore me. I need to go have my dinner.
Yes,
now.
Let's do it. Thanks a lot for hanging out with us, everybody. We really appreciate your support. Thank you to our super chatters for sponsoring today's show. And of course, don't forget to pre-order your books. We'll see you guys next week with an all new episode of Off the Rack. Don't forget to subscribe and check out Tiffany on twitch.tv/comicpop. We'll see you guys next time.